last segment of the day, you guys all know how I feel about high school sports in general here in San Diego, but high school basketball in particular is near and dear to my heart here. I think it has grown substantially since the time I was playing all the way back in 2000. So, my next guest does a terrific job covering San Diego County basketball. He's doing it really all on his own. Michael Flicks joins us here to kind of give us a little breakdown of some of the teams. Michael, first and foremost, thank you for joining us. How are you, my man?
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. It's been a good week. We're in basketball season. It's my favorite time of year, so I can't complain.
You, a former basketball player yourself, Orange Glen, representing Orange Glen.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into this kind of this area of work here? I mean, you're at a lot of these games. You're really giving some of these kids platforms to kind of show off who they are as players and as people. How did you get involved in this?
Well, just like you said, trying to provide a platform, that was really the goal. I got involved because, I was, like you said, I'm a former player. Then I got into coaching at Orange Glen at my alma mater. And then after I got done coaching, I still wanted to be around the game. And I actually had a camera to work on like some personal creative endeavors. And I was like, you know what, let me take this camera out to the game and like really get some practice doing that. And I just really kind of fell in love with filming the basketball games. And, I also play football as well. And here in town, we have Prep Pigskin Report on KUSI. And being a basketball lover, I was like, you know what? We need that for the basketball side of things. So it's been my goal here for the last few years now to try to create a Prep Pigskin Report, but for the basketball side.
You're off to a pretty fantastic start. I mean, that's how I really connected with you, was watching the work you put up on IG and
Thank you,
interviewing a lot of these young guys. And that was really how I started to come to know you and really start to be able to follow high school basketball again. Because it used to be you can get into the paper back in the day when I was playing, but obviously papers.
That was big time. I love reading in the paper to see if my name was in there or something.
I did the same thing. When I played high school football, the first thing I did Saturday morning was go and grab the paper, because even if you had even one stat, if you have just one tackle,
that's right,
your name was in there. So I would go and grab the paper and check.
And I think it's awesome because, now, the kids for like in between maybe, I don't know, the last 6 years, it seemingly have started to have a little bit more of a reach. You've been one of the people who provide that. Let's talk a little bit about San Diego basketball, because you and I both know it has come a long way since, 2000. And we're seeing a lot of these teams in San Diego be able to compete all over California and compete at a high level, perhaps nationally in some cases. What have you seen as one of the big reasons why we've seen the progression of San Diego high school basketball, I think, start to take off?
I think a big reason is our AAU programs that we have here in San Diego. We have I was going to say a couple, but a few, like more than a handful of programs here that are quality programs that are run by, former Division I and some professional basketball players that really care about the kids and put the kids' production and development first. Sometimes
it's not necessarily about wins and losses in those cases.
Exactly. So they're really looking to do it the right way. And for that reason, San Diego basketball is starting to really come along and is really starting to get the respect that we deserve here.
All right. Season is about, 2 weeks? Rolling now.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the top teams in the county. I know Montgomery's coming off of a pretty good year. Saints coming off a pretty good year.
Yep.
I would assume those are two of the top teams that are going to start, that had started the year. Where are they sitting now? I mean, how does it kind of waver, or how does it kind of move up and down that top 10?
Well, yeah, you got it right. Montgomery is the clear favorite. So I know some people out in Carlsbad would be upset with me calling them the clear favorite, but in my opinion, Carlsbad is a very, very good team, a very solid team. They're clearly the number 2, but Montgomery, in my opinion, is clearly the number 1. They brought back their entire starting 5, J.J. Sanchez, Alex Sanchez, as well as Zaire Mendez and Devin Hamilton. They're all 4 guys that have played in the Open Division Championship 2 times and lost now. So they're
they're hungry.
They're hungry, and they're feeling like, no, this is our year to get it done. And in their opinion, they would have won it last year if not for one of their players not being able to play in the Open Division Championship. So they're looking to bring their whole team back, everybody be in the championship game, and to finally get that ring that they've been chasing for 3 years now.
Now, Carlsbad is the actual defending champs. That's who
Yes.
knocked off Montgomery last year.
Right.
What does this team possess? Because this is obviously the number 2 team in the county, or at least by some people's measures.
Right, absolutely, yeah. They're led by senior Jake Hall, who's going to UCSD. He is a bona fide Division I basketball player. He is extremely crafty, plays with great pace, knows how to use the angles, and basically scores at will. Whether he's getting to the basket, knocking down a three, or hitting a mid-range jump shot, he pretty much scores at will. And then at their whole team, they rebound the ball very well. They shoot it from 3 pretty consistently, and then they've got a point guard, Jordan Garner, who's about 5'10", very, very solid frame, can get into the lane pretty much whenever he wants, whether he's scoring or creating for others. He's a very, very, very solid point guard.
That's it's not often that you get those type of back-to-back years where 2 teams could meet in the finals. It seems like it could be one of those years. A lot has to happen between now and then before we get there. We're 5:43 right now, sitting here with Michael Flicks. He's kind of giving us the rundown of really the high school basketball scene here in San Diego. We've gone through Montgomery. We've gone through Carlsbad. Give me some of the other teams that we should be on the lookout for.
San Marcos is another really, really good team. They're one of 2 teams that are in the top 10 that I haven't had an opportunity to see yet. But, I'm following every team, especially the top teams. And every time I look up, they're putting up solid numbers. They're led by Jalen Williams, who is really coming on strong this year. He played in the I forget what Mission Bay calls their tournament, but they have a Thanksgiving tournament. Got a nice dunk. He played very well in that tournament. I believe he was named first team all tournament. So he's leading the team right now. And they've also got a sophomore named Richie Ramirez, who is very, very solid. And I think he's going to shock a lot of people and really show how good he is this year. So San Marcos is another really, really solid team. I'd say it's probably unfair for me to say, but I think the top 10 that everybody has is pretty consistent, but I would probably say just based, and it's like I said, it's unfair because I haven't seen San Marcos.
Right.
But my list, I had San Marcos at number 4, and I had Cathedral ahead of them at number 3.
Now, Saints is a team that, at least going back to my day, has always had a really competitive basketball team, if not one of the best ones in the county. They started the year at number 3, and they got some former NFL blood on that basketball team, I believe.
Yes. Troy Palomalu's nephew plays for the team, and he's that's actually the reason why they started off kind of slow. He was still playing football, so they didn't have him on the team. And then also their best player and leading scorer, Jaden Bales, he was down for I believe their first 2 games. So they were playing without a couple key players. So they started off a little rocky, but they were able to get on the put up a win for the win column in a couple tournaments over the Thanksgiving break, and so they're starting to really improve and do their thing.
Cathedral Catholic, they're another team that is a team that I think is kind of on a bounce back from a few years back when they were a much better squad. They seem to be working their way up. They had a nice victory last week. Talk about this squad a little bit.
Cathedral. They've shocked me at how good they are. Now I don't want to say shocked me, surprised me. I knew they were going to be good, but they've surprised me at how well they've been playing this year. They've got 5 seniors on the team that are all very hungry and very committed and have their eyes set on winning an Open Division championship, which is, I don't want to say it's surprising because at Cathedral, the goal is always to win because they're always a solid and very competitive program. But like I said, when you've got Montgomery and Carlsbad and other teams looking the way they look, it's easy to forget about Cathedral. Let me say this. I interviewed all 5 of their seniors at their media day, and all they talked about is the chemistry that they have on their team, how committed they are to winning this year, and how focused they're going to be. Like they have one of their players, Steven, he was talking about like the work he's put into not only be a better player, but a better person off the court, which is like just built their chemistry more and more. And they've just, anything you've asked them about, they're like, we plan to win this year and we're going to win this year. They're very serious about it.
Often, some of our listeners may be familiar with the stories I tell about going to the barbershop. One of the kids on that team, PJ Jordan, is the son of my barber. So not the one that necessarily is the 49er fan that we lambaste on the show quite often.
The one that stuck the fork in him already?
Yeah, exactly. But another good squad.
Shout out to Paul the Barber.
Yeah, shout out to Paul the Barber. The Christmas Classic that is out here every year. Have they released the teams that are going to be coming out to that yet?
They have, and I was just looking at it last week. I wish I had it committed to memory. I was looking at it last week, but that national bracket is looking very, very good. Bishop O'Dowd, Archbishop Mitty, some of the better teams in the country that typically come out, they're coming out again this year as well.
That's all. It's one of the premier Christmas tournaments in the country.
Yes.
If you have some spare time, I encourage you to go out and watch these games. It'll be you'll be able to get it. It'll be information that is flooded out there. But the games are usually at Torrey Pines. That's one of the spots it's held. This is really one of the best tournaments in the country. If you get a chance, you got some time to go see it, to go check it out. Check it out. Go ahead.
We actually talked to Brian Dutcher a couple years ago while he was driving to the tournament to scout everyone. So yeah, it's a huge tournament.
Yeah, 80 teams from 57 cities, 15 states. The big boys play at Torrey Pines with other sites, Carlsbad, St. Augustine, RBV. There's 4-game tip-off per night starting December 23rd. Starts December 26th. So me and Michael plan on getting together every Wednesday through the rest of this season if we can. This is important to me. I think it's very important to have platforms. Just think, you mentioned media day. I don't remember a media day during my time. They didn't have that. So these kids are clearly getting a chance to shine. It's big, in part due to what work you've been putting on, Michael.
Thank you, man.
We'll try to do this again next week. You're driving a long way up here, so I don't know if you're gonna want to do it every week. But
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be back next week.
Good. We'll do moving forward. We'll try to highlight some the premier games that week and possibly kind of talk about some of the guys and how they're doing during the season.
I wanted to know about San Diego high school basketball as a whole. Like it's gotten much bigger, as Tony said, but what has really pushed it into becoming a place where people want to watch high school basketball?
I think first and foremost, I think the main thing is, like I said, the dedicated, the concerted effort on the kids' development and production on the court. I think that's the main thing. We got to give it up to people like Dre over at Oakland Soldiers, Game Point. I don't want to get into naming them because there's a bunch and I'm going to forget some, but we have a lot
of... It's the AAU circuit.
Yes, that's the AAU circuit. There's a lot of quality AAU programs here in San Diego that are really facilitating the kids' production and development. And I want to say after that, I don't want to say right after, but after that, I got to shout out my guy, Aaron Bergen, Full-Time Hoops. He does an amazing job scouting here in San Diego, and his brain is like a dictionary for San Diego high school basketball. You can ask him about any team, any player. He'd be like, oh yeah, that's number 12. His birthday is this, that, and the third. He studies this. Like, he knows about every kid on every team, and he runs a scouting service. And so, like, he goes to the games. He also has the cream of the county that he does over the summer, where he, all the, the top 40 kids, I think, from each grade are invited out. They play games against each other, and then he compiles reports, and he sends those reports out to all of the colleges that subscribe to his scouting service. So there's guys like him that are really leading the charge, and then there's guys like me who are out here, covering the game with the video and also helping to give reports as well.
It's such a cool way. It's just so different than what we're used to seeing. I mean, you're doing reporting with a video twist to it. I think it just brings a different element. Michael Flicks, appreciate you coming on, man. We'll do this again next week. We'll do it through the rest of the season if possible. Again, man, appreciate you coming on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem.